What's going on, guys? It's Erica with Not Your Average EDC, and...
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Blah, blah, blah. Her page is Nicole's EDC on Instagram, and we're doing a video today talking about all types of knife stuff. We have a whole bunch of new gear that came in. We have a whole bunch of new sharpening supplies that came in. And yeah, we're just gonna chat about knives. We haven't done a video together in a really long time, and everyone's been asking for one, so we're doing it. But before we begin, what is our sip and flip?
Coffee today.
Okay.
We drank a lot yesterday, so I need a break from that.
We drank so much last night. Oh my god, it was awful.
Yeah.
And hilarious and fun, but awful.
It was great.
So we're recuperating today. Yeah. All right, what's your...
And I was carrying the Mini Osborne the last couple days.
Nice, good choice. Okay, my sip and flip is the Berry Cheesecake Sour Ale from Spyglass. And this is a sour ale with strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, graham crackers, vanilla, cheesecake extract, and lactose. It is absolutely delicious.
Very good. And
my flipperoonie, Benchmade Bug Out today. This is the one that has the Death Grip scales, the G10 ones with the micarta inlays. Hey, Kane. Holy, this dog obsessively drinks water. Like, just for fun. So there's the knife. Really cool scales. It has the green, OD green, Lynch, deep carry clip, fully decked out. That is today's knife because we finished with the native. And
now you get to do a whole month where you get to choose your knives.
Which is so weird because I've been testing knives every month for like a year now. Like, have not been able to choose what I wanted to test. Or what I wanted to carry, really. I had so many knives that I had to test for the channel and for the page.
So have you picked out the knives that you want to carry for the month, or are you going to just try to be as random as possible?
I'm going to try to be random.
That's
but like my brain is like hardwired to do things in a consecutive manner, so I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll see. And while we are chatting, we are going to be treating our knives with Knife Shield by KPL. This is something I picked up from River's Edge Cutlery when it first dropped. And it's a really cool formula. It's basically a cleaner and also a rust preventative. So this is what we're going to be putting on our knives and cleaning and lubricating them with. So let's just get started. Which knife are you doing first?
I don't know. Starting the line.
Starting your line?
Yeah, this one.
Okay. Hi, Romy. I think I should probably do my fixed blades because a lot of them are tool steels. Yeah, so this stuff is pretty cool. You basically, if you're going to use it as a cleaner, you just spray it on and like clean your blade with it with a rag or a paper towel. If you're using it as a preventative for rust, you spray it on each side, let it sit for like 15 to 20 seconds, and then wipe it off. And it works really well so far. It says it's like environmentally friendly, so that's kind of cool.
I've never used it before.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so today we spent a lot of time sharpening. And I wanted to really talk about that because, as you guys know, I've been sharpening freehand for eternity. I was probably doing it in the womb as a baby. However, Nicole just started learning, a couple months ago?
Yeah, it was like a couple months.
So originally I had bought a DMT set with 3 DMT stones, like a coarse, a fine, and an extra fine. And I tried to teach her how to freehand sharpen on that.
And I did
great.
Well for the first couple knives, and then for some reason I was like convexing the edges or putting like 2 tones on it, and just like it or not apexing it enough in the end. I was like, I ended up messing up like at least half of my collection of blades, and I had to be like, Erica, can you fix this one and this one and this one now?
And it was getting a little ridiculous, and I felt bad. And at first I was like wondering what she was doing wrong. Yeah. But then I realized it was actually my fault. So everything was my fault.
No, it wasn't your fault.
It was. So I should not have started her on DMT stones because they move material quickly. and they're great for, high hardness steels and tool steels and stuff, but the bad thing about them is the pores. So let me grab one here real quick just for reference. So the DMT stones, they have a synthetic diamond plate on them, and then they have like these little pores that catch the metal particles, and unfortunately, when you're learning to sharpen, those can be really difficult to navigate. So
it's just, and it's such a hard surface.
Yeah.
And then with those little holes, it just creates kind of like a bumpy ride, especially when you're trying to get like your angle down. Yeah. It made it so much harder having that surface to work with.
It's not very forgiving. So I ended up doing like a huge knife and gear sale. I've been working overtime like crazy, and I saved up money and bought us a Japanese traditional Waterstone set instead, because I was thinking that maybe that would be easier for her to learn on. They're bigger, they're smoother, they're softer. So I picked up a Sharpening ceramic glass stone. This is a 120 grit, and then I got from sharpeningsupplies.com, I got a 220 grit. Like I said, these are all traditional water stones. They're soaking stones, so you soak them in water first. We've got the 220, we've got a 1000 grit, and these are like very smooth and soft and easy to work with.
They feel amazing.
Yeah, they really do. And Kane, enough. He has a drinking problem, like we all do apparently. 8000 grit is the last one. So these two really create a high polish here. This one you can get a nice polish off of, but if you do end up moving to the 8000, you are going to have a completely mirror polished knife.
Now but they're a different grit than your diamond stones. So what made you decide to go with the different numbers?
So obviously the coarse stone is like very coarse, like feeling. Don't speak coffee.
Yep, it is.
But the good news is this is more or less for, like, I bought this because most of your knives had chipped edges, really, really bad. So this is really for reprofiling. This stone is for severe edge damage where you really need to establish a brand new bevel.
And it's still really quick. It doesn't take much longer, or even if at all, than the diamond stone.
No, and it's easier to use.
Yeah.
But the reason I bought the 1000 and the 8000 were because I feel that for general knives oh my god, the dogs are crazy.
We have too many dogs in this room.
We do. The 1000 grit for your typical knife in a typical steel with no edge damage that just really needs a refreshment. The 1000 is fabulous for that. It's a perfect grit to just put a nice edge on your knife. And then I bought the 8000 because I really wanted to practice mirror polished edges. It's just something I want to be able to do. I don't necessarily always like them because I don't like glassy edges very much. But with some steels, like the LC200N that I just tested, I did 2 different levels of mirror polish, and they were fabulous with that steel, and it had enough bite. So this was really just to start practicing like really refined edges, but the 1000 grit is kind of going to be your typical stone that you will use for the most part, as long as you stop chipping your effing edges.
I don't do it on purpose. My L-Max seems to chip more than everything else. I noticed because this Giant Mouse Ace Riv that I have, I dropped it from maybe like 2 feet up on cement floor. So I expected some chips. When I picked it up though, I couldn't believe how damaged it was right on the tip. Just from 2 feet up, like it just completely shattered it. Yeah. So it's all good now because Erica fixed it, but that was bad.
Yeah, that one was bad. Luckily it was easy to fix. Kane, you're about to go in timeout because now you're doing bink ears.
That's okay.
Dear God. So got new stones. They're working great. I have made a video with those already. They're really nice stones. I did get a couple of new strops that are also working really, really well. I've got a strop specifically for my Bark River knives, and this is Bark River Compound, which they say that the black is 3,000 and the green is 6. It feels a little different to me. Like, I've used other compounds at that same grit, and they just feel very different. So I don't know if Bark River has some type of special mix. I don't know. What is it called? Proprietary? I think that's the word I'm looking for, proprietary. They may be doing something special over there with their compounds, but it just feels different and more gritty than the like black and green compound on this per se. And maybe it's leather, I don't know, but it works great.
Yeah, I just got into strapping too. I want to obviously support River's Edge Cutlery as much as I can, so I picked up this strap from them, and I love it. I can't believe how thick the compound is that they put on it.
They loaded that thing.
The green side's 6,000 grit, and then gray side is 3,000. I wrote it down.
Did you just say 3,000 2 times?
I think it said 6 and 3.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 3,000 both times, and I was like, wait.
Maybe I did. This is 6.
I don't know.
This is 3. Yeah, and I've started stropping all of my knives too, like in between sharpenings. That way I don't just continue, because I have a habit of just dulling them down as much as possible, then being like, needs a sharpening. So now I'm trying to like just in between strop instead, so that I don't have to sharpen them as much.
Now, which knives did you sharpen today with the Nanoblast stones, the traditional
I
stones?
sharpened 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I did the mini grip, and this one's always like kind of tricky for me with the half serrations, because you're just doing half of the blade. But it worked out well. I completely messed up this one, so I was actually fixing on the 220 grit and then moving to the 1000 grit. Now it's really nice.
Yep.
And I did the Mini Freak. I just touched this one up on the 1000. What else did I do? The Quiet Carry Drift. First time sharpening Vanix, and it didn't really need like a whole lot of sharpening, so I just did a few strokes on the 1000 grit with that.
Now that's a pretty glassy steel, you would say, so far, right? Like, it feels pretty glassy. Like, it's sharp, but it's a very slick, fine.
You don't normally. I guess you don't normally really feel much of a bite, especially when you're just running your finger on the edge. It does feel a little glassy. Yeah. When cutting, though, I haven't really noticed any difference. It cuts amazingly.
Yeah. That's a really nice blade shape too.
It is. I love this one, and it's made in Taiwan. Yes. Yeah. In Taiwan. It's great. Action's great. I love how thin it is. And yeah, so far I like Vanix.
Speaking of Taiwan knives, I had a few roll through here in the past few days. If you guys haven't seen my videos or pictures of this, I did pick up the Sage 5. Watch out!
You keep putting it on the other side of you.
I know, sorry. The Sage 5 lightweight. This is made in Taiwan, but this is the M4 Blade HQ exclusive one. So this will be tested at some point. And then also I did a trade with a very good friend of mine who is also a massive supporter of the channel, Halden. Thank you so much, man. He sent me this one in a trade, and this is a Sage one in Maximate. I don't know why I'm like this. I can't stand the handle and the feel and the robustness of the Sage 1, yet the 5, the lightweight one that everyone freaking hates because it feels like a cheap gas station knife, I'm obsessed with it. So literally when I have to test the Maximate, I'm going to take this blade out and put it on these scales because I don't even like the body of this knife. Like, I bought this, or I traded and sent some money to Halden, literally just for the blade because I don't like the body of it. So I'm just going to do a blade swap when this has to be tested. It'll get thrown onto here, and this will basically just be like a parts body because I don't like the rest of it.
You've always been like a huge advocate for FRN.
I freaking love it, dude. It's so good, and I don't understand why I like it so much.
I haven't really experienced it a whole lot, like besides handling your knives, and I had a Dragonfly 2 in FRN. Yeah. And I ended up giving that to one of my coworkers because she needed a knife. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'll get one in the future and try it again.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just love it. I think I think for me, the reason I like it so much is because that was partially like what helped me start using my knives more, because I've mentioned this before. I used to be a collector. Like, I grew up using my knives 100%. I used them, but I was a huge collector. At one point I had over 100 knives, and like I just loved to sit there and look at them. Like, I would just sit in my room and look at them. And I used most of them, but they really were like just pocket jewelry sometimes. Like, I had too many to use, so I would just stare at them. And I remember when I started buying knives with like plastic scales or Efferon scales or whatever, like these kind of just help you ease into using your knives better, because it's not that fancy heavy titanium. It's not, beautiful carbon fiber or anything. Like, these are they just feel like you can use them and not really care. So I think that's why I like them, is because they're literally meant to be used. Like, you drop them, you're not gonna like, get a dent in your micarta or something. Like, it's freaking plastic. And
I know, and as much as
plastic.
I love micarta, like, you do have to be a little more careful.
You do. One of your knives, dented the micarta on it or something. Was it the giant mouse?
No, I think it was
one of these you dropped or something.
Giant mouse. Yeah.
Yes. So right there, you dropped it in the micarta.
It was when I dropped it from 2 feet. Not only did it chip the blade to hell, it also dipped into the micarta right at the end.
Yeah.
Which
it's all beat
totally
up
fine.
now.
I don't really care.
Yep.
Obviously, I don't try to drop my knives, but the fact that you have to worry and baby micarta a little bit more, like I still love micarta.
And like titanium gets like the snail trails and stuff, which I think is awesome. But like, I don't know, a lot of people like to keep the integrity of what their knives look like, and like plastic knives
and even aluminum. Like, I mean, I've had this knife for so many years, but there's just a bunch of wear all along the tips and edges.
The coating's coming off.
It just happens with those. So I guess that's a plus for FRN.
Yeah, they're cheaper. You can still get great steals on them, and they just scream like, use me. And they're easy to clean. I don't know, there's a lot of good things about them. I love how lightweight they are. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We've gotten a lot of fixed blades lately for the channel as well. I showed those the other day. I'm kind of going through them now and just cleaning them up and like lubricating them, because a lot of them are tool steels, so they will like rust and patina.
So you're really getting into tool steels now.
I've always been into tool steel, but like the tool steel fixed blades lately, oh my gosh, I love them.
Why?
Because they're just so easy to like take care of and maintain. And I'll be honest, I love me a good patina. Like, it's so beautiful. And watching the blade just continuously change over time, over and over again, there's just something fascinating about it to me. So I've picked up a lot of fixed blade tool steel knives lately to test. And they're also pretty easy to like sharpen and keep up with, which at work, we both work at the farm. We both work at Lil Farm. And like, Nicole can vouch for this. The amount of time that we spend using our knives to process the produce is insane. Like, in the morning, you come in and like the first thing you do is take your knife out of your pocket and like put it on the counter and like just start processing the produce, because like the bottoms have to be cut off, they have to be put on ice, they have to be put in water, they have to be trimmed, you have to trim off the dead ends. I mean, the first like 2 hours of work is just standing at the counter with a cutting board and trimming all this produce to put out on display. So when you're using your knife that much, it is, at least for me, kind of cool to be able to touch it up at work, because like, for instance, Nicole has had trouble with those higher hardness steels like L-Max and S110V, and
when it comes to sharpening.
Oh, and your M4. Oh, when it came to sharpening, but they would chip out at work. Because you drop your knives sometimes, like your hands are wet, it's just a quick environment, and like Nicole has on numerous occasions like dropped her blades, or like you hit the metal table underneath the produce and your blade just like gets annihilated.
Yeah, like we use cutting boards, but sometimes
when you're moving quickly,
things happen. Yeah,
it just, so like for me, I would rather use like a little bit of a softer steel that I can quickly touch up if it gets dented, as opposed to like always carrying exotic like high hardness steels, because you can't fix yours at work. Like if you're fucked, you're fucked. Like if your LMAX chips out on you at work, you're not fixing that until you get home and you're working with a beat up like piece of shit blade the rest of the day, because you can't.
I do like the just using a bunch of different steels, but I do think that the harder steels, the ones that are harder to sharpen, maintain,
they're just not the best.
You have to compromise with those. But I've definitely started to realize like why fixed blades are so useful, especially when it comes to produce, and not worrying about having any types of veggies get like stuck in the pivot area. So it's been cool having a couple fixed blades in my collection now.
Yes. Yeah, so let's see, you have a chickadee now.
Yes, I finally got a chickadee. It's such a tiny but cool and still useful knife.
Yep.
It is so small though.
And what steel is yours in?
S35 VN. Yep. And then I have LMAX, my second one. This one I got from Juan. A very nice guy that just sent us a bunch of stuff for free. I mean, and like really cool pictures, like in photo frames.
See, that made me cry.
It was like
he's watching with his son right now. So Juan, if you're watching with your son, first of all, we love you. We love
that
you.
Drawing of Erica cutting her dreads off was awesome. I
got home and Nicole had opened the package. I told her to open it and look at it because it was for both of us. And I literally got home and just put everything out on the table, and I just like stood there in silence. And all my roommates were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually not, because number one, I don't deserve this kindness. And number two, I'm about to cry because I don't, like, he sent so much stuff and so many heartfelt things, and like a letter, notes, and the pictures, and in frames, like pictures in frames, multi-tools, pouches. I actually... Here's one of them. This is like a really cool Travax. I'm figuring it's some type of like purse wallet thing, but I'm using it to store my extra knife scales in and my spare blades, because I have some blades right now that I don't actually have bodies for.
That's a cool use for it.
Yeah, so these are sitting in
the
here.
Wallet too.
Yeah. Oh my god, that wicked nice wallet.
Yeah.
You're the man. You're the man,
so
and I can't believe you sent that stuff. So thank you so much. We love you guys. So when you sharpened your chickadee in S35, how was that experience for you?
I used the 220 grit. Yeah. It was good actually. It came up super quick. The burr.
Yep.
Literally after a couple passes, it was already ready to switch to the other side. So that was really easy to sharpen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that blade profile, like, you can't mess up. I mean, this knife is one of the most well thought out blades I've ever seen in my life.
It's super easy to sharpen, and S35 VN just felt so glassy, especially the edge that was put on it originally, because it hadn't been sharpened yet. It was so glassy, but it still cut so well.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it came dull. That's what it felt like when you're just feeling it gently.
Yep.
Now it's extra toothy because I left it at the 220 grit. I didn't even go any further.
And that's kind of what you have to do sometimes. See, okay, mini rant per usual during these videos, but this is the problem that I have with sharpening becoming the new trend now, because that's what it is like a trend. It's not like an art anymore. It's not like a skill anymore. It's like, let's see how polished and beautiful we can make these edges, and then everyone else wants to do it. And it's like, it's hard because we're not being completely like transparent and realistic. Like, S35, does it polish beautifully? Yes. And like on a quick reel on Instagram or a quick video, like, it's going to look beautiful. That is not going to cut a goddamn thing half the time, though, if you're trying to cut through material where you need bite. Like, it polishes beautifully, but if you can run your finger over the edge because it's that glassy, like, it's not going to bite certain materials very well. And it's like everyone's aiming to make these beautiful polished edges in there.
I like the toothy, gritty edge.
Dude,
best.
same.
Like, I don't really care for a polished edge on any one of my knives.
And it's not like every single steel that polishes loses its bite. Like there are some like LC200N where you can polish that to a motherfucker and then it still has a crazy amount of bite. But glassy steels like S35, S45, if you polish that, it's not going to have nearly as much bite as other steels. And yes,
and
it's
like
beautiful,
why like I love sharpening now that I'm getting it down, but why take the time to make it like reflect words on a paper? Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah, like with every knife, I don't know.
Like, not to disrespect anyone who does that. I just personally don't understand.
It's because it's trendy right now, and because everyone's obsessed with trying to learn how to sharpen, and all of the people that are like really good at it are posting all these videos and photos and stuff, and then it's making everyone else feel like that's what they're supposed to be seeing every time when it's not.
But it's also awesome that everyone's. Can you leave this?
Sorry. Yes, I need to like not do that anymore.
It's awesome that everyone's getting into sharpening.
Yes,
and
it is.
Learning.
I guess I just feel like when you're only seeing perfection all the time, it's very easy to start beating yourself up and think like, wow, why don't my edges look like that? Or like, what am I doing wrong?
And then I kept thinking initially that I needed to keep going. Like I was like, shit, it's still not up to everyone's standards. So I would spend like an hour sharpening my knife when I could have spent 20 minutes and gotten it done. And I was overworking the steel.
Yeah.
And that's, you have more room for error the more swipes you do. Because just like when you're freehand, you can maybe just do one pass where your hand, like where you're at a different angle without noticing, and then now you have to start all over.
And you're fucked.
So why take the time to do that when you don't have to?
It's hard. It's hard when these tools start becoming like art pieces because you're really losing the original like meaning of them. Like they're a tool to cut things, and now they're beautiful and they're $3,000 and they have mirror polished edges that are whittling hairs in half when you drag a human hair over the top of it. And it's just like, where did the usability go? Like what? Like just put a fucking edge on your knife where it cuts and go to work and use your knife. But it's like now people are obsessing over sharpening and
it's just gonna dull down again and you'll have to start all over.
Yeah.
So
just put a working edge on it and shut the hell up. But anyway, we've gotten a lot of really cool stuff in lately, and I'm really excited to show you guys like all of the different stuff I get to use in the month of May because I don't have to carry the same thing every day. So that'll be a lot of fun.
That'll be awesome for you.
Yeah,
to get
that'll
a
be
break.
Fun. Yeah, I have so many knives to carry. I have so many that I've been sitting on for like a freaking year that I've never even really been able to use. Yeah. This Emerson Micro Commander that the love of my life Jeremy sent me, he literally like bought this and sent it to me last effing year, and I've only been able to use it once at work, like just as a test run because I was testing other things. I haven't even gotten to use this bitch yet, and look at it. This is amazing. It's so cool. So cool. I'm excited. I have like a mini Crooked River that I built on the custom shop like a literal year ago. I've had this since we worked at Holistic Pet.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to use it because I was testing other things. I'm so excited.
Did you do the month test with a mini Crooked River?
No, I haven't been able to use this.
Oh.
Yeah, so like it'll be a lot of fun to actually put a little bit of time in with some of these blades that I've been sitting on for a year. I'm feeling like this camera doesn't like to film when it's over a half hour long. It cut me off the other day and put it into 2 parts.
Oh, okay. Are we wrapping up?
We might have to.
Okay.
One thing I wanted to mention before we end, though, is everyone's been asking what my obsession with Ultim is now. Because if you didn't notice, I've been getting a lot of these little beads made out of thermoplastic. It's called Ultim, and it's like an amber honey color, and I am obsessed with it. And everyone's been wondering what the hype is about it. There is no hype. It just looks like beer or honey, and it's gorgeous. And I literally am obsessed with the color. It's just a very hard, rugged plastic that is a really pretty color.
I'm surprised that you like that color, though.
I'm obsessed with it.
You're so particular.
I know.
It is a great color, but it's not your usual scheme.
I literally can't stop, guys. I have 2 more that are on the way that a friend from Germany is actually sending. I have this one that I picked up. I have my Mr. Nice bar has the Be No one. that Archie made
cool.
on
I
it.
like the square.
Like, I'm obsessed. I can't stop. But people think that, like, you know, something magical must happen with this bead because I'm obsessed and so is everyone else. And no, it's just cool. It's just cool. Okay. It's still going. But I don't know if it cut off or not. Anyway, okay. I think we talked enough.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go finish cleaning our knives, drink beer, and go to bed because we are still nursing hangovers. But guys, it was so...
I'm feeling great.
I'm feeling great. It was so nice to see you guys. I hope that you enjoyed the banter for a little bit. Go use your shit. Learn how to sharpen your knives. And we will see you on the next video.
All right.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.